Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Gina and Shannon, I need you to come to the front. Let me help you with these sayings that you can't get, right? You know the meaning behind them, but you can't get this verbiage together. Okay, Shannon, number one, it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. hmm Which means I shouldn't have let that person slide again. Yeah, I should have cut them off the first time they showed me who they were. And I didn't, and they did the same thing again. Uh huh. Gina, it's they're making a mountain out of a molehill. You know, ants make molehills. That's how small a molehill is. And that means, someone is taking something so small and making it huge, big, like a mountain for no reason. Well, welcome, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now let's kiki and haha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. It is season 19, episode 12. Defense is the best offense. Baby, besties, how would you rate this week's episode? Honey, when I tell you, baby, Tamra was getting ready to get into it with Gretchen. She was in her face, flipping her off. Gretchen had to hold her by the wrist to keep her from hitting her. It was about to be another lawsuit going down in Orange County, okay? But drop down in the comments and you let me know what you thought about this week's episode, honey. I'm gonna give it was good. I might just have to give it when I say 9, you heard that almost slip. I thought about Salt Lake City when you were doing all 10s last season, but I can't compare. It can be a 10 for a different reason. You know what I'm saying? But I'll give it a mm, 8.5. Drop down in the comments and you let me know what you're rating it this week. Now, besties and new besties, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure your notification bell is on so that you know each and every time I post my content. And please, oh, please, oh, please like the video. You guys are not hitting the like button. You're viewing, but you're not liking. Please like, view, subscribe, notifications. That's it. Comment, 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 comment. Now, child, the episode starts off. It's a montage of everyone at home with their kids, right? So we have Shannon on FaceTime with her daughter. Uh-huh. Heather is on FaceTime with her daughter. Her daughter's in Paris, getting ready to come back, don't want to. She has a cat named Vincent. Heather is trying to say, Grandma saying hello. Vincent got his back to her. He don't want to be bothered. Gina is at the house with Matt's wife. They're bleaching her son's hair blonde. And Emily and her daughter, I think her daughter was putting press on nails on her or whatever. And the color was hooker red. And then Emily's daughter was like, oh, I think that's what you used to be. Emily pops her and says, you don't even know what that is. Now, wait a minute. Now, I almost believed her. But this daughter said, oh, that means you hook up with guys. And she said guys with an S. And so Emily's like, that was me. That was, I've been with your dad for 16 years. And so the daughter was like, well, before dad. I'm like, Emily, I think she do know. She knows something about you. And I need her to be a friend to the show. She could take Katie's place because we ain't going to see Katie till Child, it's episode 12. I heard we not gonna see Katie back until the season finale. So in my guesstimation, season episode 18, 19, and 20 are gonna be the reunion. So see episode 17 and it's episode 12 today. We got 5 more weeks before we see Katie. Well, I'm gonna need Emily's daughter to get on here and tell us what she know about her mother because I don't like her behavior. She's um she's the charade like of Atlanta. She's the charade, the pot stirrer, Kenya, the ones that keep the storylines moving because she gonna say what she gotta say. And we gonna talk about that a little later because I meant to say this last week or two and I forgot. But Emily, I think she does know, and she got something on you. She got dirt on you. We need somebody to come spray you because, honey, you have been doing a great job at spraying people. So then we have Jen and Ryan. They're at the house discussing their wedding. They're trying to plan. And for somebody to just, I don't know, I guess they're planning it. They don't seem to have nothing together. But Jen said she will let us know when she picks a date. So they're just trying to figure out flowers, the food, dress, music. Is the son going to be in town because he's going off to the military? And what else was she trying to figure out? The time of day, sunset, morning, afternoon. And Brian don't care. He just wants her in a bikini. And I'm like, is this for real? Like, does she really have to get married in a bikini on a beach, of course? Tamara's idea was to have it at the house that they were at in Temecula, and she said it almost was a good idea. But she knows Ryan wants a beach wedding. Okay, so you got to do that. Okay, so we just don't know when this wedding is going to take off. So good. Um, and she doesn't want. I don't think they want bridesmaids. I think they just want their kids in it, and we'll get to that. So, and she wants nothing. Like, no, she wants to have no parts of anything that she did in her last wedding. She said they had the violins and they fed everybody, and it was this. She doesn't want any of that. So, sounds like that wedding was very traditional, and this one will not be. So then she tells Ryan about the Tamra and Shannon beef. Um, she told us, honey, nobody spoke on the way home. That ride, everybody was just looking out the window, just ready to go home, honey. And I knew that because Shannon gonna shut it down with her energy. Everybody was gonna be afraid to talk, even Gina. So Tamara's at home talking to Eddie about the drama. And so, Eddie is like, he has so much to say. Oh, Shannon, no, no. Tamara said that Shannon is just plain out miserable, right? And Eddie agrees. And she really says she didn't mean to call her out, call her father out when she brought up her childhood. She didn't really mean nothing malicious behind that. And she said she was just adding to the conversation that Shannon was already having when she was talking about her childhood home and how she grew up with her parents and all that. Shannon is in her confessional telling us that she refused to believe that, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And Shannon is living by that, honey. Then she mentions how hard it is trying to move forward with Gretchen. And Eddie was like, what? Gretchen? Why are you talking to her? So in this moment, I feel like Eddie is charging Tamara's battery, putting it in her back, treating her like, an electric car. She's at the house getting charged up, honey. Because, honey, it was all bad when she saw the girls, okay? So now Gretchen is at home with Slade, her housewife, talking about, the Tamara's music and how he brought up all the frolic, in the studio with this person that they keep bleeping his name out. And Gretchen says she's frustrated because this is what Slade does. He always talks too much, goes too far. and throws her out there in the middle of, he didn't like, he's not charging her battery up. He's just throwing stuff out there to see what will land. And Gretchen goes behind that. And it seems like most of his things don't land because she's frustrated. And it's like, okay, well, Gretchen, you've been with Slade for 16 years. Y'all been riding Tamra's coattail for 12 that we know of. When are you going to let it give it up? When are you going to decide to shut up? Well, she decided to shut up after she brought it up last week, and she's regretting that this episode. Okay. And I really liked Gretchen, but I don't know. I think I liked Gretchen not with Slade. I liked her when she wasn't with him. Being with him, she's doing whatever he does or cleaning up his mess and has to support his stupidity, and it's just not good. It's not a good look for her. So he told Gretchen, honey, he's still bitter about all the drama. About talking about his deceased son and how he's a deadbeat dad. So he's bitter. And so Tamara and Gretchen, they're trying to move forward, but maybe not. Maybe not. And this cast, I'm gonna say it again. This cast, Bessie, they need a shakeup. We need to, yeah, it's time to get rid of some and bring in some more people. Maybe like one or two. Um, hmm, I don't know. People say they like Shannon. Shannon can go. She need a break. She needs to get out of here. Tamara already took her break. This is her return. And eh, ah. I wouldn't mind if Shannon stays, Tamara has to go. If Tamara stays, Shannon has to go. I wouldn't mind seeing Heather in Beverly Hills, and then that way we can bring in two new people. Like maybe Katie, if she comes back, she can bring in someone. Gina and Emily, like one of them need to bring in somebody. Yeah, yeah, the besties need to bring in another friend. Maybe like a family member, kind of like not like Teresa and Melissa, but someone close, someone that you get along with. But we need like a little bit of a shake. We need a little switcheroo. Um, Jen's doing better this season, but maybe she can leave, and then Tamara and Shannon can stay and they bring in one person. We just need one good person. Like Jen isn't strong enough. Okay. And Katie is just a liar. So these two newbies are kind of, I don't think so. But we'll stick to what we have for now. Okay, so Slade is like, well, I'm trying to be a better person, but is Tamara doing the same? Child, why does it matter, Slade? Worry about yourself. Worry about you. So Eddie tells Tamara that Gretchen is, not a good person, but Shannon is harmless. She's wacky, but she's harmless. And it's like, see, there y'all go, underestimating Shannon. Shannon seems really like outdone with Tamara. She needs a break. That's why I wouldn't mind if she left just for a while. She can come back, but just to see her on this platform, she is really sticking to her guns. And it's like Shannon she gonna be mad at anything Tamara says or does. And Emily said that in the show, and I was like, I agree. So Eddie is okay with Shannon. So what? Is Shannon okay with you, Eddie? Shannon's not okay with your wife. But he says, honey, Gretchen is evil. I said, no. Eddie sitting on his platform on our TV, letting them cameras go behind your head to see all that white coming in the back of your head while it's black on the top and at the bottom. That is evil. Man, if you don't find some just for men, if you don't get you some Beijing, put a hat on. But I understand you're at home comfortable. Got it. And you're graying. But can we hurry it up? So Gretchen tells Slade that Emily is a flip flopper. It's like, duh. It's episode 12. You just now putting that together? Yes, she is. And, she says she was the one pushing to hear Tamra's song. She was. But you're the one that brought up all the other stuff that what happened in the studio. Yeah, that's what you brought to the conversation, Gretchen. Nobody was checking for Tamra's song. No one knew about the song. They was talking about doing karaoke themselves, and you mentioned Tamra having a song, and then you went into that other stuff and brought Slade in. They're like, yeah, she be causing trouble, and she's definitely gonna run that back to Tamra, and she did right up under your nose, and bestie, this is what I wanted to say. The way I grew up, if I tell you something and you go back and tell the person I was talking about, I get mad at you and want to fight you. Not in the housewife reality, not in the housewives. They get mad at the subject. They don't get mad at the person that sprayed the information. That is so weird to me because I would be all up in Emily's face. Like I told you, especially because Gretchen told Heather and Emily not to say nothing. Don't say a word. And they both opened their mouth. Heather was making sure that what was said, who said what was said. No, that's not what she says. She said that. I was like, wow. The way I grew up, it would be some drama between Gretchen and Heather and Emily. So we see Tamra take her daughter to music college. Sophia's into music. She sings and she writes. And Sophia says Tamra is her biggest fan. I love the family portions of the show. I really do. It gives Tamra we see a softer side of her, calm, maybe more real. And I like that. But why haven't we been doing this? These kids are grown now. We could have grew up watching them, as teenagers, struggling in high school, blah, blah, blah. But hey, nice, cool, okay. Then Jen hangs out with her daughter. She takes her daughter to get her first facial. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are grooming these girls early on getting work done. But she's trying to prevent her from needing work because I was looking at Jen's face. Child, the work on that face, those lips, the pulling, the face not moving. Oh, oh my goodness. Too much work. Just too, and that's just on the face. She looks so plastic. I'm sorry, Jen. You just look so fake. So Jen asked her daughter to stand with her when she gets married, to be a bridesmaid, maybe. But I guess she's not trying to use those words because of her last marriage to the kid's father. So the daughter cries. This is real touching. She's happy for her mother to have found love again, and she's really close to her dad. And they're newly divorced, so this is still kind of new. Maybe, she says she explains to Jen. No, so Jen explains to her why she's getting married again. She likes companionship. She wants to share her life with someone. Ryan is her best friend. And so now that her daughter is brought to tears, Jen feels like a failure. These are the parts of motherhood that make her feel like a failure. And her daughter assures her that no, you're not a failure, mom. You're just in love, and that's fine. It's just these are her feelings she has to put together, that she's cool with both of her parents and they're not together anymore. And her mother has found someone to move on with. Now, girl, if it's some other reasons why you crying, Can you go on Twitter and let us know, honey? Can you let us know? Is there anything? Are you okay? Blink twice with your left eye if you want us to call help. Do y'all think the daughter likes Ryan? I think so, right? Because I don't know. They all live with him. I'm sure he got money to spend. And he don't have any kids, so there's no drama with that. So at least your mom picked a guy who has no children, girl. Like you are still, the center, the core. You don't have to share your mama with somebody else's kids. This is good for you. She did good with that. Jen, you did good. Ah, so Gretchen gathers the girls to go learn some self-defense, girls. Child, this was a good idea. It was funny. So Gretchen won a lawsuit against her stalker. So she wants the ladies to be prepared on how to protect themselves. We'll get into who the stalker was later because, honey, Tamra comes to tell it all. So Gina and Tamra are in their ride together. And so one of the guys, when they pull up, one of the trainers come out and he has the skit and he's drinking, so he throws down a can of beer, so to make him look like he's been drinking, and so he approaches the car and he's like, "Oh, this is a nice car," and he's like, "Y'all got some money?" And they're like, "No," and so he starts to get irate. "What do you mean you in this nice car and you don't have any money? I don't believe you." Child, the way Tamara got scared, she was on his side, right? Tamara got up and sat over there by the other window, pushing Gina towards the guy, putting her in danger. And so she's telling the driver, drive off, drive off. And then the guy tells them that they're at the defense class. And Child Gina was like, I don't ever want to be in no trouble with Tamra, because honey, she gonna push you to the danger while she run away. So the other ladies are inside watching them on camera and they're laughing. I think it was like Gretchen, Heather, and maybe Emily. So they walk in. Gina's like, that was not funny. I did not like that. She was like, I am still shaking. Tamara was like, she almost had a heart attack. They are both a wreck. So then it's Shannon and Jen's turn. So he does the same thing with the beer, dropping it, look, complimenting the car, walking up to Shannon's window. And Shannon tells him she doesn't have any money. And so he's, you in a car like this and no money. And so she grabs, she's pushed back, she's like, "Ugh." And so he's like, are you prepared to, pass away over your telephone? And Shannon moves and she's like, what are you doing? And then so then she says, oh, well, this is a part of the story. And so then he tells them, welcome to defense class. Child, Jen called him an a-hole. She was like, oh, a-hole. And then she was like, I was about to poop in my pants. And Shannon was about to pass out. She over there leaning on Jen's lap, talking about, Lord Jesus. But Jen thinks that Shannon was way too calm. You know how Shannon always blows off. Shannon said she was in a frozen state. She couldn't even move. She was frozen. So they go inside. They all train with the defense team and they're learning the moves. And then some go practice shooting with fake firearm. So the ladies are in two groups. This is becoming a custom now, which works for reality. So Heather, Shannon, Gina, and Gretchen are in a group. They're doing the defense. I believe they were doing defense training. So they talk about, Temecula drama, Shannon and Tamra, blah, blah, blah. And then the firearms, the fake ones, are Heather, Shannon, Gina. No, are Tamra, Jen, and Emily. Shannon tells her side of the story. Gina makes light of it. Oh, she didn't say that your dad was an alcoholic. She said, didn't he? She asked, didn't he have a problem with drinking? And of course, Shannon is like, duh, that's the same thing. Let me get some water, besties. Emily says Tamra can't have an opinion right now because anything she does, Shannon will lose it. And this is where I said, I agree. So then tells Tamra about Gretchen telling them about Tamra's song. Here go Emily, just a Polly want a cracker. You know, them birds that talk, you give them a cracker, they just start talking. That's Emily. Polly want a cracker is Emily's new name. So Tamara's like, it was 15 years ago. And she said, um, and so she said it was 15 years ago. And Tamara said she was separated from Simon, but she was dating Eddie. So that was that on that. So she said we were just at the studio. It was at his house. You know, he was a neighbor. They were younger. We were just joking around, singing songs. And so she said, I was trying to give him my best, honey, on that track, and my best wasn't good. So I stopped. And so they're like, oh, yeah, Slade has a copy. And she's like, of course he does. And so Emily's like, wait, but I'm not finished. They said, you know, you and old boy got it on, had an affair, and the tape was still recording you guys. And Slade has that. What? Bring it. I love to hear it. Tamra is hot as a firecracker. The way she hollered, bring it. I love to hear it. Tamra thinks Gretchen is obsessed with her life and wants what she has. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, well, what do you have? Because Eddie closed the gym. Don't they have cannabis? Isn't Tamra and Eddie and cannabis? Or no, I don't know. Did that go well? Because we know that Heather is, because they was eating her treats last week. No, what does Eddie have going on? I mean, did he invest? Is he in crypto, coins, whatever? What do Eddie have? Well, I'm sure he's doing better than Slade, right? They still living at the house paying bills, and they both got cars to drive. So I guess they're doing okay. But I don't know. I want to know, what does Eddie have going on? Okay, so Tamara is mad. Emily continues. She says, well, Gretchen always gets information on you. Then, then brings up how Tamara caught her having an affair and how Gretchen went to court to defend herself. Now, the person who she's calling a stalker allegedly is the person she was having the affair with. Okay. And how she went to court and, won. Tamara says, hey, let me tell you this. The pictures of Gretchen and that dude, they're on the internet making out. I'm not making this stuff up. Go Google it. So Gretchen said, oh, he was the stalker and, he was in communication with you, Tamara. You got text messages. And Tamara was like, no, they were in the relationship. They got caught because Gretchen was still with Jeff, engaged to Jeff. And she's worried about her image. So that's why all this is happening. Honey, Tamara told us, oh boy sued Gretchen. And then Gretchen sued him back. So I said, oh, so they just suing and screwing, huh? They just suing and screwing. Baby, ha ha ha. Emily now sees that Gretchen is no different than what she be complaining about Tamra. What she be accusing Tamra of? Gretchen ain't no different. Emily told Gretchen that her and Tamra was the same person. And Tamra is wowed and says this is why she stayed away from that heifer for 12 years. Honey, wait a minute. I was beginning to wonder, is the guy that the stalker? I began to think, did they both mess with this guy? Is that where the animosity and the tension is coming from? Because that's a good reason why two women cannot get along, because they was messed with the same man. I need answers. I need answers. Okay, so after Tamra wins the competition, we know we're still at the defense class, so there's the competition. Tamra wins. They all sit down to eat. Child, they got some fireball there. Gretchen loves that fireball. Is it Gretchen or Emily that just loves that fireball? They both do, but when Gretchen drinks it, she gets to talking. Them loose lips, honey, sinking ships and trips, honey. Okay, if you know, you know. Gretchen takes a drink, and Tamara says, "Oh, you talk a lot of beep when you drinking that fireball. So, what's your problem?" Gretchen's like, "I don't have a problem." Tamara's like, "No, clearly you do, because I'm hearing what you've been saying about me." Well, what did they tell you? See, this is the point right here. If I was Gretchen, I would be cussing Emily out. Mm-hmm. I'll be cussing Emily's butt out right here. Not know what did they tell you. It should have been what did Emily tell you? Child. Heather explains, and this is when I would have cussed Heather out. Heather explains, and it just gets silly. No, that's what Slade said. So then it turns into that you was having sex with Bleep. Bleep is married, and Tamara is friends with them. Kevin says, well, Slade said all that. He explained that to us, yeah. And we called him, tried to get the recording, but he didn't have it. Yeah, that's what Slade was doing. And so Gretchen is, child, she backs sliding, talking about that's on Slade. That's what he said. He said that you was moaning in the background on the recording. That's what he said. That you was popping your pee and moaning and all of that. So Tamara says, "You've been doing this for 12 years and I've had it." You know, she got to slam the table and now she ain't eating. And everybody like, oh my goodness. Gina over there looking like, oh my goodness. Shan over there looking like, oh my goodness. So they said, well, call Slade. And so someone reminded Gretchen, well, no, Gretchen, you brought up the song. No, this is on you. And so I believe it was Emily. And Emily, with her confessional, she tells us that, Gretchen puts herself on a pedestal to where she can do no wrong. Gretchen comes kind of clean a little bit, but Emily busts her out some more. She's like, nah, girl, you said more than that. Who? Gretchen says she has kept her mouth shut. She don't know what you talking about. She was like, I have kept my mouth shut on all the stuff that I get about you, Tamara. Tamara's like, well, say it. What is it? I won't say because those things are gonna hurt you and take you down, and I'm not. No, 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 no. Tamara's like, say it, say it. She won't do it. Not even to production. Production, like, so what do you have to tell us? She was like, next question. They go back and forth and back again. Child, Tamara is up in her face, ready to fight, screaming. Child. Tamara says Gretchen tries to destroy, excuse me, guys. Tamara said Gretchen tries to destroy people's lives, honey. She gave her two middle fingers up in her face. She got up in her face, honey. I was like, ooh. Gretchen had to hold Tamara's wrist to keep her from hitting her. So, so Gretchen's defense is, you know who you lied on me with? I took him to court and I won. Gretchen is just so proud of that moment. And so Tamara said, oh, the guy you were screwing? And it's like, oh. She said, there's pictures all over the internet of y'all making out. So F off. And Tamara walks out. I'm sick of this. She's been doing this for 12 years. I just can't take it no more. Child, and Gretchen says, I should not have opened my mouth. And Shannon says, this is just so juvenile. but we know she was talking about Tamra, not talking about Gretchen. But I hope she was. But we know whatever Tamra does, what Shannon's gonna lose it. And that was the end of the episode, besties. And this is not a to be continued. So next week we will be moving on to the next thing. And it looked like Shannon, not Shannon, it looked like Tamara gonna be fussing at Heather. Huh. Because now it's going to be this blind loyalty thing. This is the new thing. Well, what did you say when she was saying all that? So Heather going to get in trouble next week, besties. And that was the end of the episode, honey. I enjoyed it. It was good. Tamara got amped up, honey. Drop down the comments, besties. I ain't going to hold you. Like, comment. I'm going to say like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, and I will be back with another recap. It will be Life After Lockup. It comes on tonight. This is Friday morning, besties. I'm hitting you up before I go to work. I went out last night. I'll see how I feel tonight, but you'll get Life After Lockup tomorrow. All right. Have a good Friday. Bye, bestie.